Good evening, Mauser. Good evening. This is Encounters, the UFO talk show here tonight. Flo, good evening. Jim Kuhn, everybody coming in here. We're starting live. It's Joe Man's good to have you with us. So here's the deal on my broadcast tonight. We'll be on from 10:30 Eastern till midnight. So at midnight, we're signing off. We're not going to do the 2 in the morning deal. That's way too long. But we will be on until midnight. At midnight, we'll be signing out on our show. Jim, hello. Good to see you. Everybody coming in here. Hi, Ian. Good to have you with us. So we're going to try to get on earlier and not get on later and be on till 2 in the morning. So we're going to go from 10:30 till 12 midnight. And we're going to do as many possible interviews as we can. The Soul Keeper, welcome to the show. We're on this morning. Our morning show is not yet on YouTube. On my YouTube channel, it will be. All right, so I am going to try to get on earlier instead of later. That is the game plan for the show. Lewis, good to have you with us. Katie, good to have you with us. Thanks for the likes, everybody. Meowser, thanks for the likes. Ashley Whispers. And we're going to have another great show tonight. And like I said, if you're here, if you are listening to my radio show this morning, we have some really good interviews with people. Sometimes 2021, welcome, everybody. I don't see it cutting out. Oh, that's good. Virginia, welcome to our show. This is Encounters, the UFO talk show on TikTok, the #1 rated UFO talk show. I'm the host. If you've not known anything about me, you're new here. I host the radio show every Sunday morning called The Cosmic Eye, Ashtar Command Radio on NPR Pacific Radio. We had a great radio show. We broadcast that show on TikTok in the morning on Sunday mornings, 11:30 to 1. This show is a regular show. It's been basically late night, but we're going to try to get the show on earlier. And for all purposes, also for me, it's better to be on earlier, and for a lot of people. So we hope to do that. And so it's good to have people here. Eileen, welcome to the show. Hey, Jewel, welcome to our show. We never know what's going to happen here on Encounters. That's the beautiful part of this. Mike, Rob, welcome. Angela Hamilton, welcome to the show. Marianne, Katie, thanks for the likes. Taz, welcome to the show. Everybody coming in here, all the new people. You're watching the UFO talk show. We're not a debate show. We don't talk on top of each other here. We don't do sports games. We don't sleep for 3 hours with things jingling. This is a real talk show, and I am a talk show host on radio. And also, my background is I'm a contactee since the 60s. Good to see you here. So, good to have you with us, Robert. So, we're going to try to come on a little bit earlier, for a lot of reasons. But, so I'm a contactee for those that are new here. I never know who's out here, so I don't assume that everybody here is a regular. It's never going to be that way always. So, I'm also a coordinator in Connecticut in the U.S. for our C5 group, contact group, which is going to be doing a C5 next Saturday night. And we're going to be live on TikTok. I talked to one of my coordinators, and we'll have that pretty much set up by Monday, the approval for the apple orchard. We're going to be in an apple orchard where we started our C5 contacts a number of years ago. So we're going to be inland in Connecticut, and we hope that through meditation and everything, that we will actually invite our brothers and sisters to appear in their ships before us. We're well trained in this area. And we have, a matter of fact, a few of our members here, not members, but some of my coordinators and moderators are in Connecticut who are here. Michael, good to have you. Thank you, Chesno. Chesno is one of our people in our C5 group in Connecticut, and also Skip to Grace is another one of our local folks here, and it's a just beautiful energy that everybody has. Michael Wright, I really love this show. Good job. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate it. Well, the show is what it is because of all the various people that come here and people that want to learn things. So one other things in my bio, so to speak, is I'm like a cosmic book. I was activated. I came here from another planet called Mars. You might have heard of it, Mars. And that's where I come from originally, directly. I also work with the thing called the Ashtar Galactic Command before there was internet and websites and TikToks and Facebook. I've been working with the command for a lot of years. And So yeah, Dan, good to see you. Good to have you here, brother. Everyone else, Grandma, thanks for the follow, and all the people coming in here. Really, it's just good to have you all here. We love everybody. We want to let people know the show is what it is because you're here, and it's really a great thing to hear people's stories. There are no judgment things here. Everybody, whether they're just starting out to wonder about this or whether you're far advanced in your cosmic knowledge, whatever it is, there's no ego here. Everyone is invited to come together, And if there are any, if we, trolls or whatever, our moderators are the best. We kick out the trolls, disinformation agents. Anybody who wants to start an argument, we just throw them out. There's no room for that on this talk show. Child of Light, he's stopping by. Been a busy day, not over yet, just because it's dark. Thanks for the uploads on YouTube. Yes. So this show will also be on my YouTube channel, Ashtar Command Spaceship News. I've upgraded my YouTube channel to include my encounter show. So good to have you with us, Christopher. Thanks for coming here. Harold, Jose, LeBoy, Child of Light. Thanks for coming in here. Thanks for the likes, Jeremy. I think it's Jeremy. The names are going. Megan Mazzano. I try to read the names really quick here. And please, we want to get up to 50,000 likes before 12 midnight tonight. So we're going to go till midnight. I'm not going till 2 in the morning. So we're going to try to come in earlier. Slowly, we're going to try to bring the show in earlier in the evening. And hopefully that'll be good for a lot of people. Crazy Horse, thanks for the early start. You're most welcome, Crazy Horse. My pleasure. Booty Pimples, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. Cheryl Brown, my family's nice to see everybody. Good to have you here, Cheryl, always. Heidi, welcome to the show. I like the picture of your cat. I think it's a rag doll. We have a rag doll that I put on my show the other night. Good to have everyone. L Beach, welcome to the show here. I'm just reading people's names. What Linda wants one. Yes, everyone, start tapping now. See, my audience is a really great audience. So, yeah, she is a ragdoll. Yeah, we have one too. I had her on the show last night for a little bit. Love is everything. Lizette, good to see you as well. Jack Ash 007, how many stories have you collected today? Well, not this morning on my show, I had 2 encounter stories, and my co-host called up on the show from Florida. And that was James from Down the Rabbit Hole. But I had a lot of people that didn't get to go on the air because we just didn't have time. Serena Angel, send paper cranes. Thank you very much for all my supporters telling other people to send paper cranes. Definitely that is a beautiful thing. And I have no qualms about my asking people to subscribe to my TikTok. We have, as we get things, we're just getting started here, folks. You're early. Yes, we're going to try to be early now. Going on to 2 in the morning is kind of hitting it too hard. So we're going to go on earlier. I send you 3 videos. See what you think. Hey, Lewis, I will definitely check those out. I've been trying to catch up on different videos people are sending me with their sightings. I appreciate it, and we love you for doing that. Mario Gomez, I would like to see a UFO. We'll get into how people can do that. But it's not so much seeing the UFO that's important. It's waking up. You have to center yourself. We've talked about how you can do that, and we'll get into that a little bit tonight for people that are new to this, how you can learn to meditate and do what we call C5, which is contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. But getting the protocol down, getting the spiritual insight, which is really important more than anything else. You need to know what you're doing and get the spiritual insight in order to have that experience. Zilla, welcome to the show. Jim, Miss Berry, all these Dana Too Sweet. I love these names. S1, Big Girl Storm, welcome to the show. SC Orned, Darla Lynn, UFO, thank you UFO for the cat paws. We appreciate it. You folks are beautiful. 1 Toyota 123, thanks for the likes. And Chesno, you might want to add our Venmo app for the show as we get into it with interviews. Aldia Snow, good to see you. Blessings. UFOs are angels. Thank you. User 976. I'm just reading names. We're just getting started here. Child of Light, thank you for like. So we're going to get into things a little bit here. And what we like to do on this show is let people share their encounters, visitations with the space people. We call it non-terrestrial intelligence. And non-terrestrial intelligence is intelligence that can be angelic. The angelic realm is really important, and how that plays into factors. Those star beings that are from other planetary worlds. I'm Shy. Good to see you. I'm Shy is with us here. Thank you for the roses. I'm Shy. I've been thinking about you, and I hope you're doing well. I'm Shy is our Department of Defense contact, and I hope your move is going well and everything's going well. And as we talk about these things, we'll get into certain things in terms of what's going on. This morning on my radio show, I talked about contact. For those that weren't listening to the radio show on WESU NPR Pacific Radio, I really was talking about contact now. And that is becoming more and more of a really important thing to talk about. Good to have you in Maine. Maine is one of my favorite places. We're in Connecticut, so we've been up to Maine many a times, As a matter of fact, we had a sighting up there with our night vision equipment a couple of years ago. Hello, Saint. Good to have you with us. Spirit Kiss, thank you for the roses as well. Elaine, good to have you with us coming in here. All the beautiful people. Kim, welcome. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. For the new people, I'm a contactee. I'm from Mars originally. I'm with the Ashtar Galactic Command on Mission Earth. And I'm here to bust the matrix, to shake people up. This talk show is about doing that. My radio show is about doing that, So there's a synergy of energy here, And I'm also about disclosure. Rachel, good to have you with us. I'm really heavily now about disclosure, about the truth, about people on this planet knowing the truth. Daily Vibe with my soul tribe. Good to have you with us. I'm really about disclosure. That is the most important thing on the top of my list. That's why the top 3 things are disclosure. All the sightings people are having all over the world, they're asking me what they are. I ask people, record your sightings. If you see something and you can clearly record it, let me know what it is. Share it with me. Trisha Hours, thank you for the globe. That's so, so important. And also, what's really amazing is everyone I've talked to, even on my radio show, when they call in, have had encounters with non-terrestrial beings. And that's a good percentage of my audience. You won't hear about this stuff on national TV. There's no TV show on NBC or CBS or NBC or BBC or CBC that will actually have people on for an hour and a half and interview people in a studio on air talking about this stuff. They don't touch it, Yeah, you might get a documentary on History Channel or Discovery, but you're not going to, or Sci-Fi Channel, but you're not going to get a live show that has people on the air talking about these experiences. You won't. Yeah, Bobby Rocks, good to have you, brother. They manipulate it all. Yeah, they do. Cat Mama, good to have you with us. Caesar Augusto Garcia, welcome to the show. And I appreciate my moderators letting people know about my Venmo. This way I don't have to do it, and I can just focus on the show. So I know we're going to have some interesting people as this night goes on. We're going to be on till midnight tonight. So had no experience this night. Was awesome, Bobby. Good. Essence of life. I'm shy higher than DOD, but you can say US DOD. Interesting. Essence of life. So are you saying that you're also in the government? I believe that's what you're saying. Call me crazy. Why is the media so reluctant to talk about the subject still? because they're controlled. The media is told what to do, you know? I am very watched. My friend Shai is here, and she has high security clearance, so she's asking you what your security clearance is. She's a very close friend of ours, Shai. So she's just asking as a friendly question. Yes, I am very watched. In what level of the DoD are you involved in? This is getting interesting. And hopefully James will be on tonight. Down the rabbit hole, hopefully he'll be on this evening. As soon as he comes in here, we'll be putting him on with us. I'm not sure what's going to happen tonight, but we're going to find out. Here we go. In the DoD is coming on here, and we always tell her she'll come on when she feels she can and it's safe. I'm Shai. We love you. Blessings, and welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing good. And how have you been? I've been thinking about you, and I was wondering how things are going in your move and everything.
It's good. I'm actually settled. I'm actually getting the rest of my stuff in tomorrow, so I'll be pretty settled down. And I'm working at a new base now, so that's good. That's why
good.
I name dropped last time I was here, because I didn't have any affiliation with them. I was already kind of out of that situation.
Yeah, no, good. I'm glad it's kind of crazy when you have to move from one place to another place, but to get settled in, I'm sure you're happy to just be having a place where you're not going to be jumping all over the place, right?
Yeah. And, I don't really move often or anything. It's actually my first one.
Really? Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be there for a while.
So what, you're Yankee White? Essence of Life? So this guy, he said he's level 5 clearance. So yeah, that's pretty high up. That's like TSSCI, which I'm pretty sure that's Yankee White, which is what I'm going for. I requested because I was curious about that individual. If I encourage you to come on, tell us, where you work, what your equipment's with.
I'd like to get them on with you if I can get them on. Let me see. Essence of Life. It depends if they have enough. They only have 113 followers, so there's no way they can get on, unfortunately.
Oh.
That's a bummer. We have to get Essence of Life up to 1,000 folks. They're also in the Department of Defense listening and watching. So everybody out there, help them out. I think I'm following them now too. So we'll get them there. Actually, I'm following them now. Essence of Life, I'm following you so that you can get up there. I hope everybody else will follow you as well. I appreciate you being here and finding this show. My good friend Shai is with the DoD and also with high security clearance. And I have a feeling, Shai, you have some information you'd like to share with us tonight.
I got a little bit I want to talk about, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to go right into it. Let's just jump into, as James would say, the rabbit hole.
All right. So I in particular, so I had some, or I'll say there was some affiliation on some parts last February when concerning the Alaska shoot down and the Canada shoot down. And I was going to go in a little bit more depth on what these were. So the one on the Canadian side, which we had originally had contact over the Canadian border, near the Ontario area, and then it had crossed over into U.S. territory and then back over, and then we had engaged. So this was a craft, and it was a craft that was over 20 feet long. It had dispensed orbs. Yeah, it had dispensed orbs out of the side of it. And also I want to note that we have not only non-human intelligence orbs, which I use the terminology orbs for lack of a better term, but also manufactured in the private sphere. So defense contractors have been working on this. Yeah. I mean, Lockheed Martin has some of these, and you can tell because they're not seamless. But it's very hard to tell unless you're within 5 to 10 feet of these things. So, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the incident, the Aero conference that we had a while back. They released a video of one of these orbs. I'll send you the video after this so you can see it for yourself. But they've been out here. The video's been out for a while, and so pretty much in this video, that's a Lockheed Martin device, and it goes over the
Okay.
Middle East. It's caught by a Reaper drone. It's within about 20 feet of that Reaper drone, and yeah, and you can barely even tell at that distance. So the orbs are both a man-made phenomena and a non-man-made one. So you see, that's why we're seeing them so often.
Now, the non-man phenomena is the off-planet non-terrestrial beings, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so then the other incident I wanted to get into a conversation with was the one concerning Alaska. Okay,
Yeah.
so, or the Arctic, really. But so we had originally engaged it over a certain ocean, which I won't disclose, but it was a cylindrical object. It was floating stationary. It had interfered with our systems on a U.S. fighter aircraft that it had shot down. That shot it down originally, and we shot it down with missiles. Two
Really?
missiles actually.
Wow.
The first one it kept trucking through, yeah. And this thing was not moving fast at all. We're talking speeds of about 50 miles per hour to 40 miles per hour
Yeah.
in a straight trajectory. And it was seamless as well. There was, and I'm sure if this one Essence of Life individual works in the DoD, he'd know, because this was a big thing for everybody.
Yeah.
Even the Department of Energy was involved to a certain degree. We had joint efforts with the NRO, which is
Uh-oh.
the Department of Defense. So yeah, and we were corroborating with them, and that's it.
Now,
It was a very yeah.
now that non-terrestrial craft that was moving slowly, can you give us some details of what it looked like? I think that's important.
Just as seamless, but there were two antennas at the bottom, similar to the Lockheed Martin prototypes. But the way we knew that it wasn't a Lockheed Martin prototype was mainly these things don't go out of orbit. This one entered orbit, so
It
that's really
entered
what it said
orbit.
in the thought. Yeah.
So it entered orbit from out of our atmosphere into that area of Alaska, correct? Okay.
Well, originally we caught it over an ocean, and it wasn't us. It
Over
was originally
over the ocean, right?
a naval aircraft carrier that had
And the
dispatched.
ocean,
Yeah.
was the ocean the Pacific Ocean area?
Yes, it was.
Okay, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's where.
Now, before they shot it down, this particular extraterrestrial craft was not being at all aggressive, correct?
No.
But we were being aggressive.
Obviously. I mean, every time. An overwhelming majority of the time, these things are not provoking. Sometimes they'll end up over base. We've even seen a football field-sized craft on multiple occasions, the same exact one, on the East Coast and the West Coast. And it's just a giant red cube. Genuinely, a football field giant red cube.
Wow.
Yeah, and it glows red, and it'll change to orange hue at certain times. And yeah, we've engaged that. Well, we haven't. I couldn't talk about engagement because I wouldn't know, but I know it's been seen multiple times.
Right.
And I know fighters were dispatched. Yeah.
Now, are they shooting at these big spaceships? Let's just call it what it is. That are not Lockheed Martin, but these are non-terrestrial spaceships. And I got down the rabbit hole here somewhere. Let's see. Yep, I'm bringing him up. James is coming up with us now. I'm shy. So are they shooting them down? Do we know? I have an idea of what's going on, but I really want to know. Are they trying? James, welcome to the show. My co-host James down the rabbit hole is here with us. He was on my show this morning on the radio show, which was great. Glad he came on the radio show. That was a nice surprise. But we're talking with Amshai with the DoD, Department of Defense folks, and we're talking about this thing in Alaska that came from the Pacific Ocean and was being shot. Were they afraid this thing was trying to figure out whether it was going to land somewhere or send out other probes, or what was going on with that? Do you know?
No, honestly, I feel like this is just a recovery mission at this point for anything we get out of orbit or anything that's extraterrestrial, and to furthermore implement into our own technology. Because, a majority of ways that certain weaponry works is like the utilization of satellites, and we have multiple metamaterials that are implemented in, even the B-2 stealth bomber has that has metamaterials all throughout it. That's why
Mm,
when China tried to make an exact replica, they couldn't. They couldn't have the same stealth potential. It would show up on radar. Ours
right.
doesn't because we've implemented some of the metamaterial we've gotten off of downcraft.
So this craft that was shot, was there any individuals or beings in the craft they shot down, or was it unmanned?
Well, I didn't. There was a transport. There was heavy transport and certain teams that went in that I can't name, but they specialize in certain recoveries. In my opinion, I think yes, but I wouldn't know exactly
Hmm. Hmm.
if they did.
Is
But
there a way? Is there a
they
way of
definitely
finding that
retrieved the
out?
craft.
Yeah. Is there a way of finding that out if they retrieved living beings or people that got injured or whatever in that
I have to
crash?
do more digging. I have to do more digging.
Okay,
But
if you can, I'd like to
yeah,
know that. I mean, it goes on with the scenario we've talked about in a couple of shows. How in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, you talked about how non-terrestrial beings are being kept in captivity, as I remember it. Correct?
yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's yeah, that's something I'd like to find out for our audience, and I'll leave that up to you. Take your time with that and do some digging on that too. Because if they are doing that, hypothetically, I'm not saying that this craft had living beings in it or not, but if they
Well,
did and they shot
if
it
it
down,
did,
that
if it did, it would have had to been like
okay, small,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
So
not
it's probably a probe of some sort.
yeah. It could have been a probe. Honestly, it was seamless. Which the way I dictate usually, if it's one of our contractors or not, you well usually you're told not to mess with it anymore, and you're
Hmm.
off the assignment. Which an assignment is made on the go. So like, I call it an assignment if there's something that you're actively monitoring. So then
Yeah, yeah,
then at that level it'll become an assignment where you're supposed to use image interpretation, which image interpretation is just using any data points you have, the drones you have in the area, the satellites, which you can use those all in conjunctions, and you can detect the speed, and that's basically what I'm talking about. And then you're just writing that
okay.
down, making a report, and then it's a brief.
Okay. So what's interesting is, yeah, I'm getting the feeling it was sent, this probe was sent from a larger spaceship in the outer atmosphere somewhere for some reason, Alaska, the Pacific Ocean area, whatever its purpose was. So, okay, we'll assume that it was too small to have anyone living in or being in it. Um, so if they tracked that, were they able to track a larger vessel somewhere or no?
Not that I knew of.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the larger vessel and the intelligence would have been cloaked somewhere where they couldn't be tracked on radar. And this is just my guess. You know, I'm thinking there's got to be a reason why these non-terrestrial probes are coming to Earth. They must be monitoring or trying to get information about our population or something about our planet.
Well,
I don't
genuinely,
know.
my best guesses are taking like sort of scans because they've like the way that we've mapped like because we've mapped them going over like the Pacific, the Atlantic, and doing like what seems to be like honestly genuine just observation on the floor, like
Yeah.
on the ocean floor because we've even detected them going underwater. And
There might be something down there.
yeah, who knows? But like again, they're going around everywhere.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard for me. Which you can tell because the Lockheed Martin ones, or whatever contractors involved in that, which is Lockheed Martin, but if anybody else has a prototype, I wouldn't be surprised either. But, they seem to have no goal. It's almost like they're doing test flights. I've
Mm.
seen them in groups of like three, like fumble around, not move in unison, and then I'll see some that are almost like a fleet that are moving in exact synchronous, like geosynchronous, like
Hmm.
movements, and just like almost like a hive, which I don't want to use the term hive mind, but really connected.
Right,
Yeah.
like a drone show or something like that.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Hmm. And you talked on one of our shows about a really big spaceship, let's put it that way, that they've tracked under the water. Now that I would assume has people or beings inside that craft because it's way too large to be empty, right?
Oh, in my assumption, yeah, because there is
Yeah, my assumption
docking.
too.
Well, multiple times we've caught like, and there's not just one of these. But we're seeing a lot of meeting from other, I'll say, aerial phenomena to that
Hmm.
exact place, like even going underwater. which we
Hmm.
can't even get within 12 miles of it. But
Yeah.
whenever
Now
what you
you mentioned about the Canadian thing at the beginning, and that particular thing was releasing vessels out of it. Correct? It was a much larger
yeah,
crafter. So
UAPs.
I'm assuming that's a spaceship that wasn't one of ours, like a one that we reverse engineered. Correct?
Yeah, it was not ours. 100% it was not
Okay.
ours.
And did that craft get shot down? Did they attempt to intercept it? What did they do?
They definitely tried to intercept it. I wasn't involved on that one as much as I was the Alaska incident.
Okay. Okay.
So, I
Well,
mean,
if it,
I originally monitored the movement of it across the
mhm.
border, but that's where I lost control over that situation.
Yeah, if you can get more information about that whole thing too, as well, I know you have to do some digging with some of your friends inside. But that'd be great to know a little bit more than what we were told on the national news, which was pretty bogus. It was really, it was really nothing.
Yeah, and something you got to think about is we have places like the NORAD, and who usually have full command over the sky. So whenever they see something, and which usually we'll catch it first, but if we miss it, then we're immediately notified, and any of our sister organizations are as well.
Yeah.
Um, so you know, they have a multi-billion-dollar air system. So it's
Hmm.
just like, and if they, something that an average person has to think about is, if every intelligence apparatus is seeing these things and they're not notifying you, and we have a multi-billion-dollar air defense system, then either one, they're not telling us about anything, or two, they're lying and
Yeah.
willingly, leading people on a wrong track, especially when asked questions about it. So,
Yeah.
and
What?
yeah,
They
yeah,
don't want you to know.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And I also would say that since we have another person, Essence of Life, who I'm sure I confirmed is another DoD person
Well, I
who's
haven't confirmed. I haven't. I wanted
yep,
to. I gotta.
no confirmations. Okay, so hopefully, Essence of Light, if you are with the DoD, even though you can't come on live, if you want to share some information that you know on the inside, just type it in on this live here, and we'll read your information. So you can type it in, and I'm sure James will be able to see what you're saying. So, I mean, you're right. We don't know if they're with the DoD or not, but if they are, type in some things that we don't know about that's going on as well, with this whole thing of disclosure, if you can. So we wanted to hear that. We're here live on Encounters. This is our show tonight. We're going to rearrange our timing to go on at 10:30 till midnight instead of going on till 2 in the morning, which is pushing it for me. So I think it'll be good for everybody. That's why we want to go in earlier, and I think that'll be a good thing to do. Please, we welcome everybody here. If you have please join us here. Tell everybody about our show. Our special guest is Shai, with the Department of Defense, and we're going to continue on. If you have any questions, James, that you want to ask, you just got in here as my
You
co-host.
know me.
We'd love to.
I like to let Shy just speak her
Yeah, me
So
mind.
too.
yeah.
Me
So
too.
me and down the rabbit hole had some discussion last night. Um, I gave him a brief summary of some of the stuff I was looking into, and I wanted to be a little bit more sure about it and get in connection with some of the people that would supposedly be operating these programs. And so I found some pretty interesting stuff.
Okay.
Mainly about our genetic makeup. There's strong implicational data from biopsies that were performed on some of these things, which I got access. I viewed 2 photos that I was able to confirm as authentic that were of non-human intelligence, and I'll give you a description of that a little bit later on. And I also viewed 2 videos.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 videos were, to put it simply, very
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah, but anywho, let me get into the genetics of this stuff. So
Okay, let's do that.
okay, so we as a species were supposedly genetically modified, supposedly from the Homo erectus. That's where we were originally. Our DNA was modified, and even in some of these biopsies, we found some things like a triple helix, which, if you don't know, would be implicational of a silicone-based life form. You can't achieve that without having silicone. So that's another really interesting thing. So that would, if true, confirm that not only carbon-based life is able to succeed, but also silicone. Yeah, and these people worked at Battelle. So Battelle has laboratories and DUMBs all over the United States. And I hate mentioning these places like Eglin, Holloman, and Wright-Patterson again, but I mean, these are the main places this stuff is going down. And they have laboratories around 5 miles away from these places in every single one of those, whether they're labeled publicly or not. And these people are mostly involved with the medical field genetic side of things. So doing biopsies, doing tests, looking at how their immune system works, how their immune system combats certain pathogens. And something we discovered in a lot of cases where there's human contact, there's animal pathogens that we can find that we can commonly find in things like elk and doe and deer, that are transmitted. Animal-based pathogens that are only found in those creatures that are transferred via skin-to-skin contact.
And you're finding them on people that have had contact?
Absolutely. Exactly. So exactly, and those are mostly military personnel, but exactly like the Brazil incident. So that's some pretty contacting and getting close to them, which I'm under the implication that this isn't like a defense mechanism. I just genuinely believe we're at such different points of biology, and most of these peoples that encounter this have immune system shut down, so their immune system just stops working and they die, very 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 quickly, within a week span, even less probably. Yeah, and this is done all over the country. It's something else I want to point out. And sometimes they don't have blood. Blood.
Oh, that's crazy. That's blood.
Really weird. It's more of sometimes it'll be like vessels with coagulated fluid, which I don't know the specifics of, but it's like almost like Jello. It's really weird, and they don't have typical veins. The vein aspect's kind of eliminated from them, so we don't. I don't work with these things. I'm just kind of going off the information I was given. And I got this from multiple people that work in different spots at Battelle. So one that's located nearby the Holloman Air Force Base, which I've been in contact with, who I met at a contracting meeting. And another that was at Eglin. And again, I know the most about Eglin, Holloman, and Wright-Patterson, because that's where all their connections are. And Essence of Life just said like a black fluid, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Now, and as you're talking, just to let people know, though, there are beings that have come here, what we call starseed. I've talked about that on the show on 102 of my shows. There are people that remember coming from another planet, and they're here, and they were born here, but they weren't genetically I don't know how to put it in words. They just weren't genetically modified. They came here in human form into what you call this body suit, say. Like myself, I came from somewhere else. I've shared my stories on my radio show and here. So this doesn't hold for all of human beings. Would you say this genetics is for a certain portion of the population of our, throughout history, or how would you explain that?
What do you mean? Well, I mean, we're all genetically modified. I mean, 100%. I can say that's the thing I can confirm the most. Yeah. And that was done again at the Homo erectus stage, which you typically look at a chart, an evolutionary chart, and you'll see it's up there. And that's where it happened. That's where we were modified, like officially modified. You can see our biology completely change. Things like neuron networks like amplified to like triple the power they were at before. So it's just a lot.
Was that modified by non-terrestrial beings?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, now I understand. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's new to me. I'd heard rumors of stuff like that before, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, I was very closed-minded to the idea.
Yeah.
I mean, which, it's kind of hard for me because I'm only looking with stuff I can see. Um,
Right.
and so, yeah, but I had multiple people that didn't know each other that worked in association at certain, um, certain genetic capacities that had all given me the same information. And then, so the videos, I received two videos, which I did not view it in my home laptop or any situation. I
Hmm.
actually, I'm not going to say where this occurred at, but so there was these two pictures in these two videos, both of different species.
Hmm.
I know one of them was from Centauri and one of them from Orion. So
Mm.
they're both completely different genetically, and physically. So we talk about that triple helix. That's from the Orion ones. They have this. They're silicon based. They're 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 the ones that I talked about with completely different immune systems. I don't know typically about. I don't know about the other Centauri species and how they operate,
Yeah.
but I do know that they all know about each other. Um,
Really?
I don't know about cooperation.
Hmm.
I don't know if they're actively talking, but I know that they are aware of each other's movements, especially in their aerial capacity.
Hmm. That's just now. And what were the other beings you mentioned? You mentioned the other group. Where were they from?
Well, they're mainly located in the Centauri A, B, and C.
Centauri A, B, and C.
That's where the majority of them are that we know of. Like, and I know there's more than just six, but to the ones that I can confirm in official capacity, it'd be six.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. So, something else. So they know about each other. Their flight movements. It seems like they don't interact with each other, but they are not getting in each other's way, or even hostility among them.
Yeah.
So that's something they found was very interesting, nonetheless.
And they're both. They're. Would you say they're when you understand factually that they're both very advanced? Obviously, advanced civilizations.
Yes, and some of those even interdimensional.
Interdimensional. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
This person,
So
Wow.
Essence of Life says, who claims that they're with the DoD is in here, says, "Do you know they scan for star seeds by light like UV?"
I've never heard anything like that.
I never heard that either, but I don't know. They're
Yeah.
just saying that. But
Yeah.
this is interesting. So genetic modifications with these two different, and one, can you say one has, they said they don't have like blood or like we as human beings have blood in our veins. They are, what's their makeup?
I wouldn't know the exact makeup. Again, I'm still just like communicating, but I'm no
Right,
longer under the age. Originally, I haven't used this as often as I'd wanted to share some of the information I was learning, because we were on very strict orders at that particular. I'm not going to mention the name again, just because I just don't want to draw attention to
right,
it. But at the
right.
particular base that I was at before, and because of that event that had happened 2 weekends ago that we discussed, um, so yeah, I was not confident in my ability to, and also we have
Right.
a relatively small staff.
Yeah.
So that's really why. And in my department, like you could see, like, so I work in orthophonics, which I'm in a team of about like 1,500 people now. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So, and we were working with like 500. So I thought it would be too much of a risk to be discussing some of like my
Right,
perspective on things, like,
right.
from drone
Now,
footage and satellite footage. And I discussed deep space satellites, which there is a program called HARPA that associates with the UAP study, and they operate those deep space satellites.
yeah. And are those the satellites we talked about in the last show? You talked about, I think, 35 satellites out in space
28.
that
There's
have,
28.
28.
I'm sorry,
28.
say
Yeah.
again? 28.
There's
Okay.
28. Yeah.
28. And you talked about Jupiter, we talked about Mars, the structures, and that was very interesting.
Oh yeah.
So these satellites are currently out there, correct? They're out there in space.
100%.
Yeah, they're doing all this stuff, and they send back their transmissions to whoever they're sending them to. They get the transmissions, and they get that information to whoever's supposed to get it, correct?
Yes.
Mhm. All right.
Well, we have ground stations that ping between us and those satellites. So it's just big radar dishes like huge ones, and they're public. I mean, they don't go by, you're not going to know who works at them, and it's not going to say who works at them, but that's what they're used for. Like, so I'll say like a place, so in GA headquarters, so it's called Fort Belvoir. So that there's a pretty big radar dish really closely by under the operation of a separate scientific team that we're using.
Yeah.
And it's not accessible to the public. You have to have clearance to get in. It's very hard to get in. It's guarded. It's like Area 51 almost. There's
Yeah.
MPs outside of it, yeah. And no one knows about that, but that's what we're using to communicate with these. And there's more located in Germany. We have one in South Korea. We have a couple. We have a couple in Asia, but.
And are they retrieving? I mean, are these satellites taking pictures? Are they able to take photos, film, or what do they do?
Oh, both. There's video capability and photo capability,
Mm-hmm.
but particularly is that they're sending off a signal, every single one of them, every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Have any of the 28 satellites been intercepted by non-terrestrial craft? Do you know?
Well,
can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we caught one around, which I gave. I don't remember the estimate of feet, but I think it was a little too generous. I'd say about 100 feet, where we had originally intercepted a huge craft, and we lost contact with it. So we were under the assumption that it had a collision, and which I genuinely believe it was a collision with the craft itself. But we lost contact to something massive that we could tell was uniform in structure. It wasn't something like a meteor or an asteroid, and we could tell it was something.
And how far away from Earth, if we had to go distance, how far away from Earth did this event happen in terms of distance, would you say? Or do you know?
I wouldn't be able to give exact distance, but I could come back and give it another day.
Okay, yeah. If you can find that out.
I can actually, next time I come on, give an exact location of where most of these satellites are.
Oh, that'd be great. I think people here would like to know that. Yeah. Okay, very good. And it just seems like there's just so much going on. What other things would you like to educate our audience about that you can share now that you're able, in your location you're in now, that you want to go forward and say? I know you were fed up the last time. Boy, we had to do some energy work on you to get you to just take a deep breath. What other things do you want to present now going forward that you think people need to know about in terms of the continuation of any disclosure hearings, anything coming up the pike that we don't even know about? That is any movement going on as the people in Washington get into different sessions and so forth. So anything we should know?
So Representative Tim Burchett and Luna, who are your biggest allies right now, in terms of public disclosure, are trying to make some more movement ever since Mike Turner had done what he had done, which is shut down those hearings in the name of defending the Department of Defense, whatnot. And so they, from my knowledge, they spoke with the Inspector General, which no one knows about, and they actually provided some information and photos to the Inspector General as well, which is confusing to me because I don't see why senators would do that, but I think that they're trying to figure out the next plan of attack on this to see if, because we're dying down. The disclosure heat is dying down, which is not good for in the public eye. And sure. What you need is more photo and video. So, and it's again, it's so hard to accomplish that. It's even when you see things it's you can't just take out your phone and video it. Right. Even when I saw the videos I did of biopsy and live biopsy, by the way, which I would equate to torture. Yeah, absolutely torture. Terrible. I mean, you can see visible I want to call it pain response. Twitching. They're strapped down to a table and being cut open from the arms, the wrists, up to the top of the forearm.
And are they alive when they're doing this?
Yes, sometimes.
They're alive sometimes.
Yes, okay. Because they want to see how their brain reacts, quote unquote, and how whatever their equivalent of the neuron network is would react to that pain. They want to see what response that invokes if they let off some sort of, even radiation. which would be possible, which is peculiar enough as it is, or any type of effect that we are not able to, we don't have when we die. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for how they respond, what they say, how they react, and how much that pain is affecting them. Because they want to gauge things like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where that pain starts and where it stops. If they have sadness, if they feel distress from being strapped out in the situation, which they do, absolutely 100%. And most of the times it just ends up with death. I mean,
Yeah, people are really, as you're mentioning this information that most people don't even know about, you're not going to hear about this on Good Morning America. They're going to talk about the Disney movie Barbie. Like people really care, What you're hearing, folks, is something that we're doing to non-terrestrial beings. Now, some of the beings are already not alive, but you just said there's some that they take and they say, okay, we're going to open you up and we're going to do this. And there must be awful pain on the part of that being put in that situation. Not, this is it. I'm being cut open. They're doing this stuff to me. That's got to be the most, to me, it's just unconscionable. It just is so inhuman to do that to something, someone, or another intelligence that is here, and that we're going to do this to you because we need to know more about your body, your whatever, the way you work. It's like taking a human being, putting him on a table and say, okay, I think we'll cut you up. You're alive. I don't care. It
Right.
doesn't matter.
Rather than saying, "Hey, why don't you just give us some medical records and we can work together?" We got to be all barbaric.
yeah,
Yeah.
and another thing is sometimes they'll strap them down and force a visual stimulus. Like, so they'll force them to watch certain, like, film, media, or even, sometimes torture of their own species. If that's what I'm going to call it, because but it's just open table biopsies with like 5 or 6
Open table
people, all in
biopsies.
extreme gear, typical white
Mm-hmm.
coats with oxygen respirators attached on their back, I guess, to avoid contamination.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all around, and you have about 4 or 5 angles of this. So it's like there's an overhead above the operating table, which is a spotlight above it. There's a screen which you can't see by. It's like a two-way mirror almost, which I'd assume people are behind. And again, this is all happening at the Battelle laboratories most of the time.
Now,
And
can you describe to the viewers what these beings actually look like, since you've put eyes on them?
so the two ones I've seen, okay, one being a typical gray depiction, which is the one who had the black liquid that had come out. That is the one that I had seen that but the live biopsy on. Oh,
And that's like a typical gray.
my phone is at 1%, so if I die, I will be right back. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my phone right now.
No, okay. And also, I just want to say to Zilla, we do see you. No one's ignoring you. I do see your comments of what you were saying. Um, we will get you on here. I do see you on here. Zilla, we'll go
let's
to
get them
Zilla.
on later tonight.
Zilla, we're on here till midnight. So at midnight, we're going from 10:30 to midnight, which is my new schedule. And, so we'll try to get you on before midnight to share some stuff. So be patient. We do see you. I'm not ignoring you. Just want to let you know that. But there's plenty of time. We
Yes,
will
we
get to you.
will
If
get
not tonight,
Zilla on.
it's not a rush thing. If we don't get you on tonight, we'll get you on tomorrow night. Okay. I'm not sure if they're still here or not, but anyway, so this is really, very, very disturbing, that they're doing this. Do these people that are doing this, with the live non-terrestrial beings, do they have any consciousness as to what they're doing? I mean, do they care?
100%. Yeah, they know. They know what they're doing. Like, you can see visible, like, it's visible stimulus. It's not like you can't tell that they're in pain. They're moving, convulsing, making noise, almost like growls. I wouldn't say particular, like I really wish I could replicate the sound, but it's like
Mhm.
clicking almost.
Yeah,
Um,
clicking. Yeah.
it's really weird. Like, the mouth opens, and again, they have no, like, they have naval cavities. It's honestly the genuine, like, There's a couple differences. Like the ear features are a little bit more pronounced. Like it's like bulbous almost, but it's not like an
Yeah.
ear. It just sticks out and protrudes a little bit. And it's like a typical gray depiction. And what they do is after it dies is they peel back its eye and there's a huge like pupil. The pupil's grayish, like a grayish yellow, or not the pupil, the iris, I mean. So the iris is grayish yellow and there's a pupil in the center, just like ours. They hold the light up to it. It dilates even after it's dead. Um, and so that's
Yeah.
So wait. I saw a video a few years back of an autopsy where the gray passes and it has this black film, and they use like these tweezers and like peel the film off of the eye, and it looks like a huge human eye.
Yeah. It
and
does
I
look
know
like
what
you
video
and
you're
I.
talking about, and that video is fake, but it's actually really similar.
Oh
What it gets
wow.
wrong is the skin tone, the ear features, and the digits on the hands. So the one I saw, it wasn't a typical like 3-digit thing. It was 4. It had a thumb and 3 fingers. Which is how I would describe it. I didn't get to see the feet, but I didn't even get the rough size. But the estimate I saw of it is about, I'd say, 3 to 5 feet at most. Which, yeah, it was very hard to digress because it kept switching between multiple angles.
Well,
But it
how
was
about the other creature you saw?
humanoid, very similar to us, without ears, gray complexion. The nose was not as defined; it was more circular. Like, well, not circular, but like I'm trying to describe it. Like it wasn't like a triangle. It was more like it coasted along the side of the face. I really don't know how to describe it. Almost like an arch, a perfect arch with like a nasal cavity right under. Um, Other than that, it was just gray. Like not gray in our depiction, but like if it was our skin color mixed with a little bit of gray, that's how it would be.
Yeah.
It was incredibly humanoid. It was our size, at least. I would say even 6 feet. Um,
Oh
that's
wow.
yeah.
How
Wow.
about its
That's amazing.
musculature? Was it similar
Yeah.
Yes,
musculature too,
it
or
had.
was it?
Yeah, I didn't see them cut it open because it was already dead. It was just on the table, but it had muscle, or what I would call muscle. It didn't have a
Right.
belly button. Um, the ear, the ears were very similar to ours.
And the ones
Um,
that were I'm sorry, and I'll let you continue. So the living being that they had in captivity, how did they get this being? And obviously, was it from a crashed spaceship, or how did it get to the point where they got a living entity that's not from this earth onto a table to do what they were doing?
well, I would assume they sedated. I don't know how that works, but I know it's
Okay,
from a retrieval, obviously. Well,
retrieval, yeah.
they're stored. These things are stored. They're alive ones, like under certain, I'll say certain facilities. And there's not like just 10. There's probably around like, I would say like 25 up. So
25.
Oh,
And
I
when you use the word stored, do you mean like stored alive, like in a living space, or stored and frozen, or what do you mean?
I wouldn't know the conditions. I would just know where they are.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I saw somebody mention gender. You can't tell gender either. There's no genitalia that you can discern, which is pretty
really?
interesting. Yeah.
Maybe
So
they're created in tubes or something.
yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, that's where my guess is as good as gone. But again, I'm really trying to. I've confirmed some contacts at the Battelle industry or laboratories, which is really what I'm trying to get to at this moment in time.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, everybody needs to realize that. I hate to bring it back to the deep space satellites, but we've received signal, like we've received binary code from certain star systems, um, in response to what we're sending out. Which I don't know what we're sending out, but I know we are in
Yeah.
increments of about 5 minutes. Well, it's every 5 minutes technically. So I mean, it's some really crazy stuff we're looking at, and this next satellite launch. When I get the specifics, I'll tell you where it is, and you'll see
Okay.
them launch. They'll launch. They'll do a test launch under a different name, and that's what it'll be. And you'll
Okay.
know that's what it's
And
Oh
you're
about.
going to know about
wow.
it here. You're going to know about it here, not on CNN or NBC or BBC or CBC, right here on Encounters, the the main UFO talk show on social media, and that's my background's in radio. We'll have to get you on a radio side to come on our radio show on NPR Radio, which I do every Sunday morning. So we'll have to figure
She's
that out.
way
We'll work
lucky we got her on TikTok. You want her to call in?
it out. That's up to her. But I do the radio show for 20 years. So, but anyway, that's really interesting about this new satellite. And what really everyone's disturbed about what we're doing with these non-terrestrial beings in captivity that are alive from retrievals, that we're actually opening their bodies up. I mean,
Yeah.
no one would ever hear this. You don't hear these kinds of things. No
I'm
one
worried.
talks about it.
I'm worried that somehow, like, this is a reflection. This turns into a reflection of us. Like, it ends up being their
Yes, I
perception.
worry about that too.
That's
Yeah.
my biggest thing. Like, I don't want, and I don't want it to be a miscommunication on how us as a human race is, because there's some sick people, that are powered by greed, the pursuit of knowledge and wanting to be ahead, like. So, and I just don't want that there to be some critical miscommunication where it just, and again, we haven't seen any hostility necessarily. But I don't want it to turn into a point where they're engaging in hostility. They're not caring about us as a people.
Right.
I think
again,
that's why they're observing us. I think that's why they're having personal encounters, because they're seeking out the good in the humanity.
I would think
100%.
that would be the case.
I hope so, Shai. I'm with you on that. I said that to the guy earlier on the show this morning, that he was in the military and he didn't get any visitations till after the military. And I said, well, dude, they probably didn't trust you because you were in the military.
Yeah.
They have all these bad encounters with our military. They probably knew that they were waiting for you to get out, and that's when they gave you contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
well, if anybody ever has like an interaction with one of these crafts, you need to be insanely careful, because every interaction I have seen has ended with a TBI or type
What is
traumatic
that?
traumatic brain injury. So whenever they get within a certain distance of these things, it ends up becoming a threat to like human safety. Unless it's a man-made craft, which that's not always true. But I mean, so there's if you look this up, it's not going to pop up. But so Lockheed Martin owns a site, and it's called a range. It's called a Range 47. They had a test flight of a certain prototype vehicle, and one of the engineers that was helping make that vehicle function got too close to the vehicles on activation, and he was fried. Like, and I don't mean like fried in the brain, but I mean like he was cooked. His insides were cooked. He had radiation on the inside of his body. Yeah, and he died. I mean, yeah, he died. It didn't even take 2 days. So I really want you have to know how dangerous like even the human-made ones are, and that was a prototype, and that happened 2 years ago. So it's very careful. You have to be careful. And I'm not saying they're all necessarily like that, because we haven't observed all of them in interactions with fighter pilots or anything. But I know the ones that I've seen have resulted in medical anomalies like that.
What about higher dimensional? Let's say the spiritual beings that are more advanced spiritually, that are the good people, the good beings in a sense. If we had to put a level on it, that come from a very, very high spiritual level. People that have had encounters with those ships, some of the contactees in the 50s and 60s, they'd meet these beings saying they're from Venus. They'd land their ship, their flying saucer, what you were going to call it, in the desert at a specific location. And they'd go into the craft, and they didn't have this problem. So are we talking about different vibrations of these craft that are more radiation oriented than the ones that there craft that are not radiation oriented that are going to burn people?
It's definitely radiation oriented, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But not typical radiation, as in like something you'd think like nuclear radiation. Like whole different like property we're talking about.
Yeah, something we don't know about in our they're silicon based, so it's something in their silicon based
Oh,
world.
Sunshine asked a good question. So how do humans go on board if dangerous? It's only dangerous at the point that it's powered on, and when you're in the actual craft, there's an envelope that you're surrounded with that negates certain effects like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why
Interesting.
you're protected when you're in and it's activated, like those Lockheed Martin test flights.
Yeah.
That's how that works. But
Hmm.
if you're
So
subsequently within like 50 to 20 feet of the craft on activation, then your likelihood of
Rachel
walking out of that.
Rachel Learned is asking you a question. I'm shy. I'd like to know how they got captured to begin with.
Okay, well, most of the time it's downed craft and survivors, which we use a behemoth of different techniques, whether it's DEWs or scalar weaponry, excuse me. And this weaponry, it's the scalar is the most beneficial way we've ever had them targeted, and we have this attached to satellites. Like so, we have this weaponry and these metamaterials all on our satellites,
Hmm.
and basically their will trans on a certain type of energy, and the satellite will thus put in a latitude and longitude by an operator at a certain, I'd say a certain NGA location, and subsequently they would target whatever they'd want to target. Something else interesting to think about is that we have the capability to, due to us downing these craft and taking some technology from it subsequently, we're able to detect when a nuclear bomb is dispatched. We know it the second that it happens. We have technology underground that helps scan this. We can detect the vibration, and we can subsequently disable it when it's in flight remotely.
So nuclear war, like we said before, there should be no fear of nuclear
For
war.
us, yeah, for us. That's what I really wanted. For the United States, I wouldn't be worried. But anywhere else, I mean, I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
help
who
people here.
knows what's going on with those crazy bastards?
Yeah, I feel bad for them.
Hmm. Zilla is still with us. Zilla, let's see if we take a look at Zilla's comments. Zilla says, I've had something going on. I'm on a ley line and have seen several different beings, crafts, they're saying.
Oh yeah, Shy, you want to mention,
Oh, yeah.
what you know
So
about the ley
we've
lines?
actually seen certain crafts follow ley lines like to the T, and even make turns on ley lines. Specifically over the Pacific, we've been seeing it a lot happen. Like exactly following. So if you were to, for instance, pull up a map and look at the coordinates of our ley lines and how they connect on a place like the Pacific Ocean. So Zilla, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We see them over them, or even in the area where they center at. Like so, there will be origin points, or I wouldn't say origin points. There will be points where they all connect, and there's a lot of anomalies that happen there. It's almost like they're
Sorry.
amped up.
Excuse me. Go
Yeah.
ahead. No,
So
it's just,
yeah. Um, yeah, they're usually amped up. I mean, and I don't know if there's some energy that we don't understand. I don't know, but I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it all happen, or there be
yeah.
an increase in interaction on those specific points.
Hmm. Hmm. It's amazing. See, folks, that's what's it's so important that we're getting some insights from Shai. And again, for people just tuning into the show, watching it for the first time, I'm the talk show host. My co-host is James down the rabbit hole. I'm with WESU Radio, an FM station for over 20 years. I've been with doing a show called The Cosmic Eye. I've interviewed all kinds of people, including a man in Canada who's no longer with us, who wrote a book regarding contact years ago. I still have the book, and at the time, his information was very accurate. Um, but I do that talk show every Sunday morning. Our guest is Shai. She works with the Department of Defense in specific areas, and she is our
She is.
person. She is our disclosure person, and when she's able to get information I guess verified. She is bringing it on here, and this is stuff you will not see on CNN News because they're only in for the hype. When the disclosure things started happening, they said the Pentagon's doing this, they're doing it. It's all in the hype, and all those big media outlets, folks, are controlled by very big companies. They don't care about disclosure. They really don't. But here we do. So we're going to turn it back over to Tom Shai and continue on.
Okay, also something interesting, it's like these things have like a neutron effect to them. So like we outfitted, which this happened 15 years ago. We had subsequently sent certain satellites to places like Base Systems and Boeing, and which they have engineering teams in each one of those places, and they had outfitted our satellites with neutron detectors. And there's about 6 satellites that, which notably there's magnetic force like that comes from these certain from neutrons, and even radiation, which is really weird. So like we have certain, and that's where like that seems like a main byproduct of what these things are like putting out. That and scalar potential, which is really weird. And we have 6 satellites around in geosynchronous orbit, all around the planet that help pinpoint where these things enter atmosphere. Because these that's how we mainly identify these certain craft with those satellites, those 6 ones.
Is the neutron detectors?
Yes.
Mm. So that's the first. That's the first indicator that they're here. The neutron detectors go off.
Yeah. Well, you can catch it. It depends on the speed, or if they just appear. That's when those are mainly going to be used, or if we don't detect it in our orbit. So, like again, some of these things just appear, and either they're too fast to be caught, which I personally don't think it's that option, or they're appearing through things which I personally like anomalies in our space time. So, like it's almost like they're coming out of these again. Like when you look at the road, or and I've even seen some like that are just like big black masses and they spit out through it. Not like a black hole, but and they're there for a split second and they're just there. It's a big black like blotch even, and then they're there.
Kind of like with the MH370 flight.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of, I think there's just too many unknowns with these things. There's too many different kinds. And again, I think we're going to mess around and we're going to keep hurting these things, and we're going to have some consequences, and I'm just
What do you think you confirmed about 2027, which we've talked about since last year? I talked about it. Confirmed from your inside understanding that 2027 is going to be an initial contacting period. But with that happening, how do you perceive? This is with all the stuff we've done with taking these beings in captivity and doing what we're doing. The greater galactic community has to be looking at this and saying, hopefully they're saying not all human beings are like this. That we're not all aggressive, wanting to tear your body up, and we're not all like this. I mean,
Well, what I wonder is if we were genetically modified, whoever did that modification must be doing observation and seeing the plight of us and realize that there's, maybe 100,000 people ruling the world. And all the rest of us schlumps are just the victims of the system.
I think that's honestly what's happening. I think that's why there's an observation, and this is where my opinion, because I won't be able to confirm that, but I genuinely think all this observation is coming from the fact that we were genetically modified in some way or degree, from, again, Homo erectus. I mean, there is a critical change in our DNA at that point. So, you can look at studies from like places like Harvard that compare us then and us now, and it's just such an influential gap. It's kind of hard to deny.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting stuff. But I think I'm gonna probably hop off here.
all right.
Yeah, and I appreciate y'all for listening to me. Of course, every time I love when y'all host me. Thank you so much. Bye.
I'll let you go. Thank you, I'm shy. And when you're ready to come back on with real important stuff, I know she'll tell us that. And down the rabbit holes with us, this is Encounter Zilla. Zilla, if you're there, we're gonna put you on here, man. We got to get you on here. Let me see. Where is Zilla? Zilla's here somewhere.
We don't mean to deny you, Zilla, but Shy's time is very precious to us.
Yeah.
Not that your time isn't precious.
Everybody's time.
But she doesn't.
Oh, there you are, there, Zilla.
She doesn't
we're
get
gonna
much
get you on here,
time
man.
to join.
So we're pressing the guest button. We're gonna get you on, Zilla. And we're glad to have you on, man. We never really like to ignore anybody.
Hey,
so Zilla, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I've been trying to get on here for a while. I know my connection, I'm cheating off Wi-Fi because
you are, okay.
My experience has been, it really started in like 2018. I saw this orange.
Can you bring your camera on, or is that impossible?
Yeah, hold on. Let me if I can figure this out here.
Yeah, we'll help you. We've helped people before with that
There
stuff.
we go.
All
How you
right, man.
doing?
Welcome to the show. This is a
Yeah,
real
You
human
see me?
being, folks.
oh, he's
We
even
can
Thank
better
see you.
looking
you.
in person.
There you go, man.
So I've had my I have to like hold my tablet in a certain way, so this is what
Okay.
I look like. I don't want to like lose connection. Let me walk closer to the
You can turn
library.
your camera off if you need to, buddy. It's no pressure.
So
We're just making sure you were human.
it's not that I'm shy. I can't. So I've literally had 12 phones since September of last year. The amount of footage I have is absolutely insane. I've had
Mm-hmm.
contact with beings in my yard. You can
In your
literally hear
yard.
the the electromagnetic noise in my on my land, like white noise, like TV, you know.
Yeah.
And I've seen subtle stuff that looks like the sun, and it just
Mm-hmm.
started shooting out like rapid fire white orbs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I live like in the country, and like I have like a little dirt road neighborhood near me, and
Mm-hmm.
all my neighbors have been going through this too. And we've had like it was very disturbing at first, and just having all this stuff happen. And I've seen these black pyramid, like right now. I've seen orbs like flying around all night, and
Really?
I had I'd say Tuesday I took one of my devices that's been hacked. I can still like record videos on it, and I'm telepathically like it's communicating with me, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm recording myself like I am here, but you can see, I'm holding
Mm-hmm.
the camera in a certain way so you can see this thing behind me, and I'm asking it, and like audibly, I say, can you show us just how much we're loved here?
Yeah.
And this is at like 4 in the morning. The sun's just rising. There's no clouds in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
and this orb draws a picture of clouds, and it's a baby being
Mm-hmm.
held by a mother,
The orb
and
does it.
then that mother, the mother, is then wrapped in like a papoose, being held by
Mm.
like Mother Earth. And I said, because I'm very spiritual, like and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like I meditate all the time and stuff, and
Oh, good.
just like I've been going through this awakening, and it's been pretty awesome, but crazy at the same time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I asked it. I said, "Can you show us how we can become as?" And so like made another cloud that started. I mean, this is clear as plain as day.
Mm-hmm.
It started as a baby, and the cloud grows into a man, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can see the soul coming out of the man.
Wow.
And I've been trying to send these videos to my other devices to
Mm-hmm.
upload them, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever is preventing me from uploading what I have it's relentless. I've literally gone to phone stores
Mm-hmm.
and turned on brand new service. The second I
Mm-hmm.
turn on the phone
Yeah.
phone starts ringing, and just like messages, like hundreds of messages just come through. So it's
Really?
like something
Do you
I'd say
think
is probably government
No, I was going to
is
say, do you think government's trying to
completely
stop
blocking
you?
me from
Yeah.
sharing this. Yes, because I have this fleet that has been here. It was like here all last summer, and these ones that I've been communicating with,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, it looks like to me like they're cleaning the ozone, like
Atmosphere?
they're cleaning what the damage that's been done.
The atmosphere, yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's the feel the
Oh.
feel I have, and
Mm-hmm.
it looks like they're scrubbing, like they are going. It's like a grid thing they're doing, And they also have these orbs. I call them the diamonds, and I have videos of these things. It looks like a disco ball, but it's like diamond shaped. And I'll call them scales. The scales are like rapidly turning, but it's constantly changing color. So it's like looks like a rainbow. When it's far away, it looks like a light, but when it's up close, it's like maybe the size of a basketball.
Okay.
And like they're flying all through the woods, like near my land and stuff. Now all my neighbors are like terrified of it than I am. Like I'm more like I'm not scared of it, you know. I've had contact with like I'd want to say it's a reptilian. It looks like it was like 10 feet tall. It was wearing like a black cloak, and it looked like hieroglyphs on its face. It looked more reptilian than anything. I've seen grays. I've seen
Have you
like
seen other
really
positive
tall,
beings, like
like giants.
Giants?
Yeah, like that's what. Yeah, like I'd say they're Palladians. Like they have long white hair. They look like elvish, but they're like really tall.
Zilla,
So
I've
where are
had-
you
are you
located?
being contacted? Are you being contacted by both positive and negative beings for some reason, or like you're getting a mishmash?
It's more positive. I haven't I've seen insectoids. It's more positive than anything. I have had negative experiences. My roommate like moved out because he couldn't handle it anymore. It was like terrifying. It got to like the only ones that are like really intrusive, I'd say, are like the grays. Like they'll just come in your house, and it's more like a observant thing, you know. And I don't know how to I haven't really felt threatened or like I'm gonna be experimented on.
Right.
It's definitely got to do with the energy here because it's not like
What state are you
like
in?
I see
by the way?
paranormal stuff too. I'm in Maine,
You're
so
in Maine. Okay.
yeah, I'm in
Interesting.
York County. I'm just west of Portland, and
Okay.
it's yeah, it's been an interesting year.
Have you
So
videotaped any of the spaceships? Like, can you send me to and share?
yeah, that's the thing. So like I have somebody helping me with compiling all this into like a file, and I can send. I have zip drives I could send you, and I mean I don't really care about the credit for them. You know, it's the more like the message. I want to get this, you know,
Message, yeah.
you
The
know, like
disclosure, the message, yeah.
right, and it's not about me. It's about like us and
That's
what's
right.
going
That's
on.
right.
Like that, like what happened to me the other day was just. I mean, honestly, I was crying because like, you know, it's like I don't know, like you just know like they're there for us, but at the same time, it's like why are they trying to block this message from getting
Now,
out? You know, it's
when you've
not.
seen, you have so much information you're sharing. I want to ask you a question, and also James might have some questions. We're going to be here. We'll stay on till about 12:15, just so we have more time. But I want to ask you the different beings that you've encountered. When you say Palladians, when you say I've seen the Palladians, the tall beings, have you communicated with them? Did they land a ship? When you said you've seen them, how's that work?
I'd say there's more like a portal aspect here too. Like I don't I mean I don't know like how to describe like I haven't seen a ship on the ground. I have pictures of ships in the woods. There's this mothership I call it is it's literally being buzzed by military aircraft like constantly, and you can tell it's not ours, and because they're constantly like messing with this thing, and
So have you had military aircraft monitor your location?
oh yeah,
I would assume.
yeah, oh yeah, I have low-flying drones. Like they're about it, and I literally have like, the state police fly like the single engine Cessnas. The military also has them too, and like you could tell
Really?
because there's
You're
not.
you're really have become a center point. Did you ever think that was going to happen? I don't think that was your intention when
Oh
you
no, like
attempted.
this has been like I'm an HVAC mechanic, and I recently started my own business a couple years ago, and basically because of all this hacking and like what's been happening, I can't make a Facebook account, I can't make an Instagram account. I have like a complete blackout, and the only reason I'm on TikTok is because it's the only one that I could get on. And I get
Really?
kicked out. Yeah, I get kicked out of my account so often that I have to like constantly change my password and like update it. It's a nightmare. And
It's crazy. Yes. I get a feeling, and I can tell you this because I'm a contactee since the '60s, that it's the government that, and I'm sure I can look into this, but I'm pretty sure she's our DOD contact. She was just on here. I'm pretty sure the government is trying to play around and prevent you from exposing the truth of what you're experiencing, because you are really a person, and I feel that energy coming from you right off the bat. You're having multiple encounters with different extraterrestrial, non-terrestrial beings, or galactic part of the galactic universe, so to speak. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing, but obviously these people in the military that are monitoring you don't want you to talk about it. They're
right.
trying to prevent you from sharing the truth, which I think is wrong. And that's why we have this show, and that's why I have my radio show, which I want you to come on the radio
Zilla, are
too
you
next
getting
Sunday.
encounters?
I would love to, and you guys are more than welcome to come up here and do like investigate because it's I mean it's all. I can honestly say there's probably like maybe a handful of days that I haven't had
Hmm.
contact, and when the contact's the highest is right after there's a electrical storm. So like
Really
that's when you get
interesting.
like this really like serious things, and so like the craziest thing I've had happen is this huge ship. Like I don't know. I have video of this thing like charging up some sort of like beam. I'd assume it was like a communication thing. Like
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
looked like it, and it was just shooting out like this large white. Um, I don't know. It wasn't like it didn't seem like a weapon to me, but like almost
Hmm.
like it was like a communication thing with another ship.
Right. And a
Is what it
communication device.
right like, and that's what it seemed like to me. Like because it was like charging up and like like my roommate was terrified and like he's like it's like 2 in the morning when this is happening,
Yeah.
and like he's like waking his kid up, and like I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting out of here, they're gonna kill us. And
I
I'm
mean,
like, dude, do you really think
that's
jumping
his
in your jet
reaction
is
to
gonna
that.
like save you? You think
People,
like you think you stand a chance right now?
I can imagine.
And like
The,
so
the
it's
human,
like it's
the
just
human
like
mind
makes
is
you.
very interesting. How people say he says they're going to kill him. People are there's so much sci-fi movies that are negative, and people are going to the ETs are going to eat us up. And I try to teach people. We've been so ingrained and programmed to Hollywood flicks that are negative about ETs. We don't know really anything because people, that's what they look at, like the Mars Attack movie, where had the movie these Martians. Now they don't look like that because I come from that level, but that's the way Hollywood portrayed it, and they were able to blow humans up and all this crazy stuff. And it was such there's so much disservice in the movie industry when it comes to the whole subject of ETs for the most part. So when you tell that story, he feels like, oh, we're going to get killed or whatever. It's because of the fear of probably watching too many horror movies. But
Yeah.
you're living there, you're experiencing, you're there full time living there. So are you married? Do you have a wife or a girlfriend or
I have a
somebody?
girlfriend, and she has just the same amount of experiences as I. She's had contacts with Greys. She has this video that's crazy of this being. I don't know. It's like like almost like a neon pink color, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
walking through the woods,
Hmm.
and it's just crazy looking. And I understand like where people's like fear comes from, because like when you see something you've never seen before, it's like you kind of try and associate it with something that you have. So like um, I don't know, like I've seen like green laser beams come out of the sky, and I was like, like I didn't know what I was seeing, and I was like, was that green lightning? Like knowing it was a green laser beam, like that was like a telephone pole thick, and this was in Lewiston, Maine, and this was last September during like a storm, and like everything that's been going on with Maui, I'm like, well, yeah, they just got hit with like these green laser beams right before all this terror happened, and when I saw it, I was like, it's like more like a shock, like everything I've been through in the past year, nothing can really shock me, and
Mm-hmm.
you know,
have, have the beings themselves been courageous enough? I don't know if the right word to use. This has been Encounters. Let me just mention the Late Night UFO Talk Show. My guest is Zilla. These shows are recorded. I'll be bringing the show onto YouTube, my YouTube channel, so people on YouTube can watch it. And if you missed any part of the show, it'll be on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, and it's under Ashtar Command Spaceship News and Encounters. We have Zilla as our guest down the rabbit hole here. Please support our show just to get a little plug in here.
Oh,
Please send gifts. Go to my Venmo account, CmdrAleon 2022. Right now, while you're watching the show, go to our main profile page. There's a link. Maybe my moderators can add the link there for
thank you.
people. And so we'd like you to do that. And Zilla's still with us here. Have they ever, any of the beings that you're in contact with, have they actually knocked on your door or tried to come up to your home in the country where you are?
The only one that's really been intrusive, like I said, was the Grays, and they didn't like
Yeah.
really ask permission. They just came in, and
Yeah.
but I've
hello, we're
had,
here for some business.
yeah, I've had communication. It's more telepathic than anything, like
Telepathic, yeah.
it's like I guess you could say like clairaudience for me, because like I can audibly ask them the question and I get the answer in
Mm-hmm.
my head, and or I can choose not to speak, and
Yeah.
it's more of a the they are like respectful in the fact that they say you have nothing to be afraid of, and like
Have they, question, what did they say to you? So I guess they're asking you, since you are telepathic, have they provided you any insight why they're here? Have they given you any of the different ones, given you telepathic messages as a contactee? Because you really are a contactee in this sense.
so
Anything important?
the ones that I've had like this past week, um they're Pleiadian. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they're here for like our protection, and like they want our planet to survive, and like they want um us to like as a species evolve, because everything that's going on right now is like we're being prevented from this happening by like the people who are in control. Like we have a lot of people rooting for us, and a lot of people trying to hold us down, and that's basically the gist of it. And
Mm-hmm.
they I felt nothing but love coming from them, and like pure like caring, and it's not and that's why I want to get this message out, because it's it's not just about me, it's about all of us. And they don't want us they want us to like be afraid of them, and like that's not the case here, because they don't want us to they don't want to lose control. They
Mm-hmm.
want to like the ones that are in control here, and it's we're literally being I guess you'd say enslaved by like I'd say like 1,000 people that don't like they're maintaining control by fossil fuels and like energy, and like we have the technology to have free energy and not pollute our planet, and everybody have everything they need, and
And
they
they want to
lose.
make contact though too, right? They really do.
Yeah,
They want to be. They would like to make contact, but they're being prevented, as our contact in the DoD has stated. We have actually shot at their spaceships.
yeah. The
We've
Palladians,
actually
and
been the aggressor.
definitely they've shot at them, and they're like, you can tell like the military is very aggressive towards like these beings, and like it's like, are you guys foolish? It's like an ant trying to like start a fight with us, and it's like, from what I've seen and experienced, they can literally disappear and reappear, and they can't,
Yeah.
and it's not, you can tell when something is a remanufacture and something's not, because like when you have the pictures I have, you can see there's like a fold in space-time around these crafts, and it's I don't know, it's just amazing, and like they're here to protect our planet, honestly, and like
Yeah.
they don't really want to get involved because they want us to do it ourselves, to not
Yeah.
mess with
they want
our
us to
free
wake
will.
up. Yeah.
They don't want
Yeah.
to interfere with our free will, but at the
Yep.
same time, we're on like the brink of destruction, and they're not going to let that happen. So
No. That is true. That they will. When we're getting to the brink of being so into our ego power, the people that control the planet, the people in the different countries that control things. When we get to that ego power, so that we're going to start blowing up our planet, it's going to affect the whole universe. And they're not going to let that happen. You're absolutely correct about that. There's no way they're going to let that happen.
because it's not, when you look at the universe and planets that can support life, we are like the fraction of a fraction of intelligent life, and as big as the universe is and how much space and stuff is out there, like for our planet to be where it's at in alignment with the sun, to have to support life, we're lucky, and the people that are in control that are doing this, like, we literally have suppressed technology for over 100 years. We've like I've just recently watched like a bunch of Stephen Greer stuff, and I'm from New Hampshire, and there was a guy that he made a carburetor that would give you 100 miles to the gallon. He's like, and this is like small town nowhere, so this guy's like a hero, and like he sold his patent for like $1 million, so like he's like the richest guy anybody knows, and nothing happened of it. So like, what happened there? Like, there's been this suppression of life-changing technology.
Oh yeah.
For far too long, and obviously, like, these psychopaths are willing to do anything to maintain control. I mean, look at what happened just in Hawaii. Clearly, that's not a forest fire. If your eyes can't see that by now, you should probably donate them. I don't know what else to say. I'm
gonna have to get our DoD contact when she's back on with us next. I'm gonna have to it's in Maui that happened and get her perspective from her inside, and she's on here now watching. So I'm shy. If you can get any insights as to Maui, I don't know if we even talked about it. There's so many conflicting things coming out of Maui. Maybe you can get some information. I'd like to have her share it in the future about what's really going on, because there's too many people creating content about Maui, and we really don't know whose truth is what and what's what. In my show, I've delved into Maui, and I hope that the people are going to be able to rebuild and everything, but we need to get down to the truth of that. And hopefully we will, and it's interesting you mentioned Maui. So we're getting up to 12:15. I want to have you back on. Obviously I also want you to send me some of the footage. If there's a way you can do it, I want to review the footage, give me a date on it, a little story behind it, and I'll get it on my YouTube channel too.
That would be great, and you're more than welcome to come up here anytime. And I personally live on a 2 acre lot, but my family has like 500 acres up here, and
Wow.
like you could see like the aurora borealis and stuff up here. It's
Wow.
so you can see everything. There's
Looks like
no
Commanders
light
don't want to
pollution.
raise there.
So if
500
you
acres.
if you want to arrange something and come up here and camp out for a weekend or whatever, and I guarantee you will see things that you've never seen before, or maybe you have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you won't even have to do a CE5.
yeah, it's and I didn't know this till it started happening to me that Maine has the fourth highest sightings in the country, and
Really?
I was
Interesting.
really surprised by that. But it makes a lot of sense because we're one of the least densely populated states,
Well,
and
yeah, of course. It's a safe
so it's
place for them to come, right? So
yeah.
I would assume in the 500 acres, are there woods or is there any open land
Yeah,
areas?
there's open land. There's all types of stuff. There's an old railroad track that you get a good view of the sky. Um, my land is I don't know, maybe a half mile, but I'm right near the Saco River, and this ley line energy. I have some like photos and stuff that are like crazy. You can see like the energy, like just I don't know how to explain it, man. Because these new phones, like the new Samsungs, like these things are picking up spectrums of stuff that you can't see with your eye, and it's mind blowing. And so like that's
Wow, it's funny that you
yeah,
say that because my camera picked up some. I have a Google phone,
yeah,
and it has picked up stuff that the viewers have seen, but I did not see.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
same here. So I've had the new Galaxies, the 5 camera, like the Ultra series. So they're picking up like they have night mode, and they're picking up like the spectrum that we can't really see, but it's a spectrum that they they operate in, and the stuff you pick up is like it's crazy. It's almost like a night vision spectrum, but it's a different infrared spectrum than uh, most cameras, and you can pick up like electromagnetic energy and stuff, and if you go into like your phones are capable of doing a lot more than people know. So if you get into like the carrier settings, you can literally like get into like all the sensors, and you can your phones pick up electromagnetic fields,
Hmm.
all types of stuff. And if you look up your like carrier settings, like you can punch in these codes, and your phones will like you can find anomalies yourself just with your
Hmm.
phone.
Well, I
So
want to jump in here. I know we're at 12:15, almost on the East Coast. We have Zilla, now a good friend of the show. We are really excited, Zilla, you came on here. We're able to get you on here, and we want you back on too. I most likely will be back on with the show tomorrow night, and I'm trying to readjust my time schedule to about 10:30 to midnight, a little bit after that, because I've been on until 2 in the morning with lives, and it's really taking a toll on the show a little bit, but you are great. We need to have you back on, man. Are you open to
I
coming back
appreciate
on?
that. Oh, definitely. I've been trying for a month, and like
I didn't even
you know,
realize you were trying for a month.
yeah, somebody actually directed me to you, and it's been frustrating because my connection's like very poor, and I live next to a library, so I have to use their Wi-Fi because I cannot. I literally can walk in a store, buy a phone, turn it on, and like it will start ringing immediately. Messages will start coming in, and I cannot do anything with it. I can't
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like
We
I'm
have a
like,
lot to talk about with you, man. This is like you're like an open book here. We have to have you back on. We're going to be on tomorrow night, and either tomorrow night or Tuesday. As soon as we're on, just come here, man. We'll have you back on.
oh,
Definitely for
definitely.
sure.
Thank you for having me, and I
Thank you,
appreciate it
Zilla.
because I've been trying to like get help with this and like get this message out for quite some time, and I
Well,
have
this is
like
this is the this
thousands
is
of pictures and hours of footage.
yeah, this is the number one UFO talk show anywhere on the media. And people are going to hear about us, but they're too late because, I've been getting someone's going to take this show that we're doing and put it on a bigger scope. I don't know when that's going to happen, but there's going to be somebody who has TikTok and some media outlet that's saying you got to get these guys on an international scale in a studio. And Stacy, thank you. Thank you so
Whoa,
Thank
much.
you.
Galaxy.
I appreciate that. People, please go to my Venmo right now. If you've got Venmo app on your phone, how many people have Venmo? If you do, you can make a direct donation there. So go to my
That's
link at CmdrAleon 2022, and please Venmo anything you wish to Venmo. I'll leave it up to you what you feel. Go within meditation. Please do that. Galaxies are good. People who want to do direct gifting right now, like Stacy did, please send me a gift right now to show your support for what we're doing with Disclosure. Zilla is part of Disclosure. He's a real person, a live human being, has contact with various beings, and has incredible stories to tell. It's amazing.
it's
Yeah,
it's
it
not
really is.
it's not just me. It's I have like a collective of people that will meet with you too because my neighbors have been going through it. My girlfriend, my old roommate, they've all
Yeah.
been. My bank accounts have been like they've done everything they can to like stop me from getting this out, and
Wow.
it's been a nightmare. Honestly, it's been frustrating, and it's like you know pretty much
Well,
I'm
now
not
you
get
have
not giving up, and
now you
the
have a home. Now you have a home on this TV show. You have a voice now where you can be seen, and I don't care if the government hears me. I'm sure the government's monitoring us, and they know that I don't care. I'm here to
me
do.
neither.
My background's media. I'm on NPR radio. I don't care. I'm very much out to bust the matrix and bust the control on people by these trying to stop. And this is a disclosure show. I mean, it's really, really much very important. So Zilla, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, man. Thank you. Much peace to you. I want to encourage people now to send some gifts. If you can send, we have 205 people here. If you have enough coins in your TikTok, that's what they call it, coins, and you have the ability to send us some galaxies, do it now. Show your support right now before we leave the airwaves. And we'll be back tomorrow night with another edition of Encounters, the Disclosure Show. And we are about disclosure, we're about your encounters. Thank you, Honey McReynolds. You're always coming through. Probably around 10:30. About 10:30, 10:45 in that realm till about 12 midnight. So that's going to be the new hours. We're going to try to start earlier because we know some people go to sleep, and we understand that. So we appreciate that. Again, I'm going to wait for a few more people to, unconditionally send some sort of thing. Galaxies would be the best. You can go to the Venmo account and please go to our CmdrAleon 2022 Venmo. There's a link. There's a link there on my main page. Thank you, everybody. Linda, everybody here, all the people.
Thank you for the
We're
gifts, everyone, and
yeah,
Thank
sorry
you, sir.
for talking over you, but
Very good.
this has been like a load getting
yeah.
because I've been trying to get this out there, and like I need help, and I have
Well,
somebody
now you
helping
have
me
help.
getting all this stuff compiled off my devices, and it's getting it uploaded, or we're not that far from
Yeah.
each other. I'm willing to drive and meet you, so
Well, you know
just
what?
to like hand off that.
Zilla. We have a C5 group here in Connecticut. Well, we're going to be doing a C5 potentially next Saturday night at an apple orchard.
Oh, no
And
kidding.
I'll let you know about that if you're interested.
Definitely.
All right. I'll let you know about it, man. We'd love to have you.
Thank
This could
you.
be
Yeah,
very, very
definitely.
interesting.
It's been awesome, and I mean, all I gotta say is
Good to hear
nobody's got
you.
anything to be afraid of, and the only people you got to be afraid of is our government. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, I'm not afraid of
that's
the
it.
government either because
Me neither.
don't be afraid of anything, folks. So
Yeah.
we're going to have you come to our C5. I'll have it set up by tomorrow. I have to talk to the apple orchard. But once we set it up, man, you're definitely welcome to come.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. All right.
I'm gonna
Looks
get
like we
off
might
here.
have
Have a good
somebody
night.
happen.
Thank you.
I
All
want to
right. You
let
take
you
care, man.
know, tonight in the chat we had Midnight Stories. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
Mid- Midnight Stories is the #2 UFO podcast on TikTok show.
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah. I've been on his broadcast and we're collaborating, him and I.
yeah,
So yeah.
I was telling him that he needs to, we need to do a collaboration for sure.
Yeah. Oh, he wants to do collaboration. So do we. All right. Well, it's time for me to
Thank
go.
you. Have
It's
a good
still
night.
early. Okay, Zilla, I'm following you, man. Message me and send me some of those videos too, all right?
I definitely will. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Let's see. Whoops. There I am. So I'm getting ready to go off into the Twilight Zone. Let's see here. There we go. So as we end, we have 187 people. I'm going to promote myself here a little bit. Please send some gifts. Any galaxies, go to my Venmo. My moderators, mention the Venmo link for everybody out here before you all go off for the night. Those that have a lot of coins, what they call coins, as I've learned about, thank you, Skip to Grace, that I've learned about coins. Thank you for the hat. Those are good. My mustache, I can use one of those. Please, please, please support what we're doing here because what we're doing here is so important. We're not just on TikTok hitting heads with other people. We're doing a TV show here, and that's the focus. My background's broadcasting. I try to keep things professional. At the same time, I'm a contactee, so I can relate to people's stories. I've been a contactee since the 60s. I've also come out of the closet years ago that I'm not from here, I'm from Mars. So you're getting all kinds of dynamics here with me. I'm sort of like an open cosmic book with a great deal of my own knowledge. I don't get my stuff from the internet. I don't go to websites. I don't care about other people's projected agendas or whatever. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to hope that some of you will go to the Venmo and make a donation on the Venmo. I'll leave it up to you. Whatever your inner meditation tells you to do, your spirit tells you to do. So it's CmdrAleon 2022 is the Venmo. The Venmo is actually listed there. That's not CmdrAleon 2022. If you go to our main page on the corner where you see the blue little round thing, press it. You'll see the connection to our Venmo, and you can make a donation, folks. Okay. Everybody, take care. The link is in the bio. So go to my bio and you'll see the link. Everyone go to the bio and you'll see it in the link. Exceed. Thank you for being Essence. I think it's Essence. Edge, I think that is. Let's see one crystal. I'll show you one of our crystals before I go. And this is one of them here. Let me just bring up the screen. I have lots of crystals. This is one of our crystals here. A lot of beautiful energy in it. So a request for the crystals. It's like, when I think of it, it's like a beautiful spaceship. And the spaceship's getting ready to land on Earth to make contact. Multicolored spaceship getting ready to land. And folks, that's going to be happening sooner than you know. Whoops. All right, it's time for me to take off. I love you all. Have a great night. And we'll see you tomorrow evening earlier here on Encounters, the Disclosure TV show. Your UFO sighting reports, your encounters with space people, and everything related. Take care, everybody. I love you all. I love your support. Let people know about our show. Pass the word on all over TikTok. Let people know about Encounters. Take care, and remember, disclosure is above you.